Good morning. I am Kevin Price. Delighted to be with you. Going to spend some time talking to you about you and your business. I'm sure you're very familiar with the company Priceline. Huge footprint in the travel and accommodation industry. The co-founder of that impressive organization, Jeff Hoffman, he's on the program today, and he has recently got involved and is now a co-founder of a company, or founder rather of a company. No, co-founder. Is that correct, Jeff?
Yes, indeed, co-founder.
Of colorjar.com. I love the name, by the way. It has a certain Crayola crayon feel to it, you know, so I like it. And I look at the site, which is colorjar.com, and, you know, it's attention-grabbing, and congratulations.
Well, thank you very much, and I think it kind of reflects a little bit of our style and sense of humor in the company as well.
Oh, yeah, I love this, that 4 out of 5 moms thinks the leadership team is awesome. Yeah, which mom's not so sure?
I'm afraid it might have been mine. Who knows?
Talk a little bit about, first of all, how you went from Priceline to ColorJar.
Sure. So, you know, throughout, obviously, the whole course of Priceline and everything we built, we learned a lot of lessons about scale. We learned a lot of lessons about marketing. There were a lot of things we tried and eventually got them right. And at ColorJar, for me, I've done 8 startups total. Well, that includes ColorJar. But what we said was our expertise in the world, everybody has one thing they're good at, hopefully. Our thing was launching new products and services into the world. So ColorJar was an entity we created to say, let's help people maximize their chances of success when they launch some new product or service in the world based on the experience that we had.
Now, in addition to talking about ColorJar itself in terms of getting there, talk about what ColorJar does exactly.
There's really 2 parts of it. We have we call it think and build, because we have the think is the strategic part, where our main focus is on strategic positioning. A lot of times people are all ready to launch something, and the reason we use this expression, we launch rockets, is there are rockets on the launch pad that's all set to go, except they're pointing it at the wrong planet. Mm-hmm. So we first do strategic positioning. Is your product positioned at the right market at the right time with the right message? So that's the think part. And then the second part is build, which is we have our best team of designers and developers, and we help people build everything from e-commerce sites to, to purchasing and payment systems to their overall online and digital presence.
Yeah, that's interesting. Talk a little bit about the verticals that you are working in as far as clients.
Well, I got to tell you, it's a broad range of verticals. We do everything from small companies to big companies. Projects we've done that include everything from online presence to mobile apps for companies the size of, Google and Miller Coors, all the way down to very small startup companies. But the industries the verticals are less relevant. The relevance for us is that you've got something new you want to launch, and we've done work even in the nonprofit and charitable space as well.
Yeah, very good, very good. So when did you launch ColorJar?
Let's see, we are going on year 5 now.
Year 5, wow, that's fantastic. When did you leave Priceline?
Not too long after the bubble collapsed in the internet, and I'll tell you the reason why. We were building new Priceline companies to address new markets outside of travel, like groceries and energy and other things we wanted to sell the Priceline way. But when the internet bubble popped and all the internet stocks crashed, that was a time where, now we were a public company, and the public board was saying, look, let's just stop creating new stuff and let's just stick with travel. So for me personally, that's in the early 2000s, my productive thing that I can do in the world is build new stuff. And in an environment where we're now a public company and people are conservative and at that moment in time didn't want to build new things, it was time for me to move on and build something new.
Right. And it sounds like having had, I think you mentioned 8 startups that you've been involved in. That may be your niche, would you say?
Yeah, we kind of, so the guy who had the original intellectual property, the guy that came up with the idea for Priceline, an inventor named Jay Walker, Jay and I were sitting one day and talking about the fact that we sort of divided people into 3 groups: inventors, builders, and operators. Inventors are idea people, always thinking of some cool new thing to do, but their skill isn't building it. For me, I'm in that middle. Builders are the ones that say, that's a good idea, let's go launch it. But there's a third piece, which is once a company's up and launched, now you got to just run it for years and sit and stare at dashboards and spreadsheets. Those are operators. So we sort of felt like those were three different DNA types that we should recognize. And for me, I fit in the middle. I like to build stuff.
Yeah, you like to build stuff. And so that's typically your role in developing these things.
Yes. My job is to take the idea, the intellectual property, and literally create a product out of it, create a team out of it, a marketing campaign, product development people, to literally launch a company around an idea to get it to market.
Talk a little bit about, you talked about the verticals. Talk about the size range of the companies you work with.
Well, it really is all over the map, but I would say more of the focus for us tends to be on medium size. Here's the thing. The determining factor isn't the size of the company for us. It's the aggressiveness of the growth plan. Companies that are at a place where they really want to grow something aggressively, that's what we like. Mm-hmm. When you're on cruise control and just going along and you don't have much growth projection, we can't really help. But when people say, whether they're big or small, we have huge growth goals and we really want to aggressively try to get that hockey stick demand out there, that's where we feel most at home.
Got it. Talk a little bit, though, about the size range of your clientele. And you can do that in revenue.
I would say a lot of small and medium-sized companies. These are companies whose revenues might be brand new, in the hundreds of thousands a year to the small millions of dollars. But we do also have some billion-dollar clients as well. But I would say the preponderance of it are people that might be $5, $10, $20 million a year companies or lower.
Yeah, it sounds like your sweet spot, are companies that really are still looking for sophisticated yet turnkey solutions.
You got it. That's exactly right. And that's part of our strategic process, is making sure that they're really ready for that before we encourage them. We'll tell them, don't spend a bunch of money launching and marketing yet until you really have a sophisticated approach. Yeah,
no question about it. So how's 2015 been for you, and what are your expectations about the next year?
Well, it's been fantastic. I'll answer that in two pieces. For the company, for Color Jar, considering we don't really do a lot of aggressive marketing ourselves, it's because we've had a steady stream of business from referrals and people seeing that the work we do. So it's been a fantastic year so far. For me personally, I made a commitment to giving back by mentoring business owners and entrepreneurs. So I spend a huge part of my time working with small business owners and working with entrepreneurs and helping them strategize their business, and then working with entities that are trying to do that. Like right now, I'm actually at the University of Akron in Ohio building a new entrepreneurship center for the Akron community, for the university and small businesses. So that's where I've been spending my time this year, on those types of projects.
Jeff Hoffman, he's been our guest. He's with Color Jar. That's colorjar.com. Thanks so much for being with us.
Well, thank you very much for having me. Appreciate it.
You bet. Do you want to remind a listener best content here shows up over there at usdailyreview.com.